Street Genius Part 57. Architects of Own Beliefs. Try this. Take a random person and put them in a room with some buttons to push. Then tell them that if they do something specific, some undefined, something that they have no figure out, a light will flash on indicating that they've won a point. Then tell them to see how many points they can earn within a 30 minutes period. When psychologists have done this, what happens is what you might expect. People sit down and start mashing buttons at random until eventually the light comes on to tell them they got a point. Logically, they then try repeating whatever they were doing to get more points. Except now the light's not coming on, so they stop experimenting with more complicated sequences. Press this button 3 times, then this button once, then wait for 5 seconds, and ding, another point. But eventually that stops working. Perhaps it doesn't have to do with buttons at all. They think perhaps it has to do with how I am sitting or what am I touching. Maybe it has to do with my feet. Ding, another point. Yeah, maybe it's my feet. And then I press another button. Ding. Generally, within 10 to 15 minutes, each person has figured out the specific sequence of behaviors required to net more points. It's usually something weird like standing on one foot, memorizing long sequences of buttons pressed in a specific amount of time while facing a certain direction. But here's the funny part: of the points really are random. There is no sequence, there is no pattern, just a light that keeps coming on with a ding. And people doing cartwheels thinking that what they are doing is giving them points. Sadism aside, the point of experiment is to show how quickly the human mind is capable of coming up with and believing in a bunch of bullshit that isn't real. And it turns out we're all really good at it. Every person leaves that room convinced that he or she nailed the experiment and won the game. They all believe that they discovered perfect sequence of buttons that earned them their points. But the method they come up with are as unique as the individuals themselves. One man came up with a long sequence of button pushing that made no sense to anyone but himself. One girl came to believe that she had to tap the ceiling a certain number of times to get points. When she left the room, she was exhausted from jumping up and down. Our brains are meaning machines. What we understand as meaning is generated by associations our brain makes between two or more experiences. We press a button, then we see a light on. The light goes on. We assume button caused the light to go on. This and its core is the basis of meaning. Button, light, light, button. We see a chair. We note that it's gray. Our brain then draws the association between the gray color and the object chair and forms meaning that chair is gray. Our minds are constantly worrying, generating more and more association to help us understand and control the environment around us. Everything about our experiences, both external and internal, generates new associations and connections within our minds. Everything from the words on this page to the grammatical concepts you use to decipher them, or the dirty thoughts your mind wanders into when my writing becomes boring or repetitive. Each of these thoughts, impulses, and perceptions is composed of thousands upon thousands of neural connections firing in conjunctions, alighting your mind in a blaze of knowledge and understanding.